Namaskar. I invite Dr. V. Krishna, Dean, Student Affairs, Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Head, Process Modeling Research Laboratory, PES University, Bangalore. Dr. V. Krishna is a proud son of Ganakala Bhushana Vidwan K. Venkatram and Vidushi Jayamma, an engineer and a well-known percussion artist. Dr. V. Krishna, sir, I now request you to present the paper titled Mathematics in South Indian Classical Carnatic Percussion Music.
Namaskar and a warm welcome to this presentation as part of the 19th Annual and the 5th International Science Fiction Conference 2020, jointly organized by the Bangalore University and the Indian Association for Science Fiction Studies. The presentation for the day is on mathematics in South Indian classical percussion music. South Indian classical music is also referred to as Carnatic classical music, and the instrument in front of me is Mridangam, one of the foremost, in fact the foremost percussion instrument in South Indian classical music. Before we delve into the math in the percussion art form, let's just listen to the Mridangam, right? Right. I ended this small piece with a structure. There's a little bit of maths in it. This is a small peek into mathematics in Carnatic percussion. In fact, Carnatic percussion is one of the most highly evolved art forms in world music. Percussion, by its very nature, offers a lot of scope for mathematical improvisations. It is based on musical time. In fact, one of the basic purposes of a percussion instrument, one of the basic aspects of a percussion instrument is to maintain time, musical time. And it is in fact like maintaining the tempo, right? And some of the very famous instruments in Carnatic percussion, Mridangam, Ghatam, Kanjira, Morching, Jhallari, Dolu, right? These are all instruments which embellish, which add vigor to a presentation, right? Besides their ability to bring in a lot of mathematical wizardry into their expressions, right? So that was a small introduction. Let's get started with the topic. Right. Mathematics in South Indian classical percussion music. Musical mathematics is based on the foundation of musical time. A measure of musical time is one of the foundations on which all the math is built. The actions, they're called kriyas, which are used to measure musical time in Carnatic percussion, they're called talas. For example, the very popular tala with 8 beats to a cycle, the Adi tala, has an action like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It has two distinct types of actions. One is the beat followed by the counting of fingers. The other is a beat followed by a wave, and this happens 2 times. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now this is an action that measures musical time, right? So you can build compositions to this particular measurement. The tempo itself is referred to as laya. Laya is in fact a lot more than just tempo. It can be loosely called tempo or rhythm, right? In fact, laya is the soul while tala is the body. And laya is inherent in every aspect of the universe. The pulse is according to a particular laya. The rotation of the earth is to a particular laya. The revolution of the earth around the sun is to a particular laya. There is a measure, there is a time measure, and any change in the laya, can have catastrophic consequences, as we realize. So, just wanted to impress upon the fact that laya is extremely important, and it is not seen. That's why I call it the soul, right? But you need an action to measure, and that's the tala, right? Now, let's look at one basic element of how the math is going to be introduced. Let's take a look at the Adi Tala itself, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have 8 beats. Right, now I'll bring in the mathematical element slowly, in a gradual manner. Now let's take one letter or one count per beat, and let all the counts be, say, ones. Say let's say it sounds like this: 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Right? Well, let's go for 2 counts per beat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Please remember, I'm not altering the gap between the beats. That gap remains the same, which means the laya remains the same. But the number of counts I'm feeding keeps changing. Let me introduce 3 counts. Right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go further. Let's go for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, as we bring in more number of counts, we recognize, at least in the way the rendition itself is happening, that the recitation of 1, 2, 3 is a little difficult. So I'll replace these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s with the language of the South Indian percussion oral recitation, right? Takka dhimi, takka jannu. So, takka dhimi, takka jannu. 8 beats, 8 letters, sorry. Right? So, takka dhimi, takka jannu. Right? Now, just to go back to the ones again, I will alternate between the ones and the takadimis. I'm sure you will understand the reasons. It is easier when I continue to say 1, 1, 1, 1, right? But let me take the structure itself as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and recite the entire 8, how many number of times I want, by increasing the number of counts per beat. What was I mentioning? Let me demonstrate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it's 2 counts per beat. Now if I increase it and make it 3, it is a lot more complex if you tell it like this than just saying 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Listen to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A little more complex, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That was 5 counts per beat. Right, so I'm now introducing the complexity slowly. This is musical mathematics. It's all about the time and the time intervals and fiddling around with the time intervals and coming out with some nice combinations. Let's take a very nice, very popular English poem and see how it goes, and let's try and understand this speed mathematics like this. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the sky so high, like a diamond in the sky. Now that was a speed of 2. Now make it 3. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the sky so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the sky so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. I moved from 3 to 6. That is a musical composition brought into the realm of mathematics. Right. This is how we build up the musical mathematics. Now listen to me bring in these gaps and the whole presentation changes. Now let me take an example of say 3s, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is actually going in 3 counts per beat. That is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's easier like this, right? But if I go into 4s, like 4 counts, but told in a speed of 3 per beat, a little complex. Well, let's go for you have 8 beats. Let's go for the last 5 beats. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now that is 5 1, 2, 3s or 5 3s, 15. Right? Now instead of, let's go for the commutative property. Instead of 5 3s, I can say 3 5s. Ta di gi na tom. Ta di gi na tom. 5 letters. If I tell it 3 times, it should come in the same time span. Same span, right? So let's try. Tadiginatum, 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 ta. Right? I think now you're getting a hang of how maths is getting into the realm of percussion, right? Into percussion music, right? Now, if I don't tell all the letters and I leave out one letter, the way the recitation appears or is heard changes. For example, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. If I blank out the 3s in all the all the 3 5s, how does it sound? 1 2 4 5 1 2 4 5 1 2 4 5. Sounds a little different, right? I blank out 2 letters, 2 and 3. 1 4 5 1 4 5 1 4 5. Now, that is adding complexity. So you play around with the gaps, and that is bringing in the complexities into this musical time mathematics, right? Let's take a look at a few more structures with a little more musical time variations brought in, right? Right. We are talking about time-bound mathematics. Now, we talked about varying the number of counts per beat. Right, there are certain terms which are used for this. First of all, the number of counts per beat is also called a gate. Right, it's going in a gate of 2 per beat, 3 per beat. That's called the gate. The gate is referred to as nadai or gati in Carnatic percussion terminology. Nadai or gati, right? That's called gate. Now, if it is three letters per beat, it's called Trishra Nadai. If it's 4, it's called Chaturashra Nadai. Right? If it's 5, it's called Khanda Nadai. 7, Mishra Nadai. 9, Sankirna Nadai. Clearly I left out 6 and 8 because 6 is double of 3. So it is Trishra Nadai, double speed. And 8 is double of 4. So Chaturashra Nadai, double speed. Right. Now, this transformation of Nadai is one of the very fascinating aspects of percussion mathematics. Like, you go along a speed of 4, Chaturashra Nadai, and suddenly change over to a different Nadai. And let me make it very clear, mostly when we don't specify the Nadai, it is a beat of 4, it is a gate of 4. Right? So it's like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I don't specify anything, I just leave the gap like this. It's generally understood that the gap is filled with 4 letters or 4 counts per beat. Taka dimi, 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 taka dimi. Right. But what I'll do is, the first 4 beats, I will retain it at in a gate of 4. The second 4 beats, I'll go on changing the gate, and this is called Nadai Bedam. Transformation of Nadais, Nadai Bedam. Right? Let's look at it. I'm sure you'll understand the aesthetics behind it. Taka dhimi, taka dhimi, taka dhimi, taka dhimi, taka dhimi, taka dhimi, taka dhimi. I move from 4 to a gate of 3. Now I'll move from 4 to a gate of 5. Taka dhimi, 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 dhimi. I'm still saying taka dhimi only, but the speed has changed. Now I'll go to 6, which is double of 3. Taka dhimi, 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 taka dhimi. Now 6 even numbers are generally easy. The odd numbers are the ones that give you a little trouble. Let's go for 7. Taka dhimi, 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 taka dhimi. Once more. Taka dhimi, 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 taka dhimi. And if you're going in a gate of 7, taka dhimi appears 7 times. 7 4s, 28. 4 7s, 28. Small mathematical, thoughts. If you go for 8, a simpler one. Taka dhimi, 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 taka dhimi. Right? Now this movement from one nadai to another nadai is called nadai bedam, or sometimes also called gati bedam. Right? Right. Let's come back to Aditala. This is 8 counts per beat. Let's go for 4 counts per 4 counts in every beat. So in one cycle there will be 4 into 8, 32 counts. Right? Taka dhimi, 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 taka. Right? Now, intelligent use of these gaps will lead to the formation of some structures. There are a number of beautiful structures which are based on the foundation of introducing gaps. For example, let's look at a structure. As you listen to it, you will understand. I'll explain the facets of the structure. taka dhimi, taka janu, taka dhimi, taka janu, taka dina dim, taka dina dim, taka dina dim. Last 4 beats. So the structure was 16 counts. Taka dina dim, taka dina dim, taka dina dim. I introduced a dim between one takadina and the second takadina. There is a dim. Second and the third, there is a dim. And the final dim has to fall on on the reference point, which is the starting of the tala. Generally, it need not be. You can always introduce a complexity saying that my reference point is 2 counts after the start of the tala, or 1 count before the tala. That's your reference point. So everything, all mathematical structures you play should come to the reference point. Let's not get into such complex things. Simple one. Taka dina dim, taka dina dim, taka dina dim. That final dim falls on the reference point. And that's for us, for the time being, that's the reference point. The starting of the tala. Right? Now, if I change the gate, let's say I go for 3 counts per beat. And if it is 3, 8 3s 24. Now this structure is 16. So I need to start after 8 counts and then say this structure for 16 counts, right? For example, takita 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 takadina 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 dim takadina dim takadina dim. Right? If I go for 6 letters per beat, then where do I start? I will not tell you where I am starting. Listen to it. Takita tadimi takita tadimi takita tadimi takita tadimi takadina 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 dim takadina dim takadina dim. Right? Very importantly, you would have realized I can start anywhere, but I have to end at the reference point. That's very important. Right? We listen to structures which have even letters. Takadina dim, takadina dim, takadina. Now suppose the letters are progressively reducing. Arithmetic progression. Decreasing progressions, increasing progressions. Take a look at this structure. Takadina dim, takita dim, dina dim, tadim, dim. I'll tell it in letters, in counts, in numbers, you will understand a little better. 1 2 3 4 dim, 1 2 3 dim, 1 2 dim, 1 dim, dim. So it is 4 and a dim, 3 and a dim, 2 and a dim, 1 and a dim, 0 and a dim, and that final dim has to fall on the reference point. Now this is another structure. These structures are called sols. Sol cutters. Sols or sol cutters. If they are played towards the end of a composition, they are also called muktayams. Muktaya means ending. So they are also sometimes called muktayas. So instead of a reducing structure, you can have an increasing structure. Like instead of 4 3 2 1 0, you can have 0 1 2 3 4. Same starting point. Dim ta dim taka dim takita dim takadina dim. Dim. Dim 1 dim 1 2 dim 1 2 3 dim 1 2 3 4 dim. Right. See, it's not funny to be talking about 1 2 3 4. So it's easier when you express yourself in a language that is easier on your tongue. Your tongue has to move fast. So that's a sol. That's easier to recite, and and it's easier to play. And whatever you say should be very similar to what you're playing, right? Right. Now, this reduction and enlargement, these are called yatis in Carnatic percussion. A reduction structure is called a gopucha yati, cow's tail. An enlargement structure is called a shrotovaha yati. It's like a river, like it starts as a tributary and a river and joins the ocean. Right, so takadina dim, takita dim, takadim, tadim, dim, gopucha yati. Dim tadim takadim takitadim takadinadim. Shroto vahayati. You can also have an enlargement and a reduction. Dim tadim takadim takitadim takadinadim takitadim dinadim tadim dim. Or dim tadim takadim takitadim takadinadim, or takadinadim takitadim dinadim tadim dim tadim takadim takitadim takadinadim. Right? So these are called the one that goes increases and decreases. Mridangayati. You know, it's like a mridanga, the shape of the mridanga. The other one is the Damarugayati. There's an instrument called Damaruga, which is somewhat shaped like a rectangular hyperbola. So it's starts big, ends, and then increases again. Right. Now I have introduced you to how mathematical structures are built. Right. Now there are zillions of structures with complex mathematics built into it. Now one of the structures that is generally played in Carnatic percussion is called a korve, or also called a tirmana. A korve or a tirmana has two basic parts, the frontal part and the aft part, the fore part and the aft part, purvanga and the uttaranga. The purvanga usually has this yati structures, and the uttaranga has something called tadiginathams. Tadiginatham is your 5 letters, right? For example, listen to this structure. Ta-dim, takadim, takitadim, tadiginatham, 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 dim. Now clearly there are two parts. The first part is where your reduction and increasing structures happen. The second part is where your tadiginathams, they are very popularly used. Tadiginatham is a 5-letter word. You change the number of the gaps between the letters. If you say tadiginatham, it becomes 6. Tadiginatham, 7. Tadiginatham, 8. Tadiginatham, 9. These are very intelligently used. Again, you can play 3 tadiginathams or 3 tadiginathams, or you increase the gap like ta-di-gi-na-tum, ta-di-gi-na-tum, ta-di-gi-na-tum. Now again, this is your time-space mathematics, wherein you play around with the times. Okay, let's look at one structure. Now I'm going to put the tala in this meter. This is the tala meter, and the sound gives me the reference. I'll play a structure, listen to it. You can recognize that it's a fore and after type structure, and you can recognize the gaps and how I play around with the gaps. If I play it in higher speed, same structure, played at a lower speed, at a higher speed. Right. Just coming to the end of this presentation, the attempt was to make you understand that percussion mathematics is all about playing around with the time intervals. The entire thing is based on your ability to understand the rhythm and make a structure which has a lot of math built into it, gaps built into it, play around with the gaps and come out with a structure, and finally the structure, when it ends, it has to end on the reference point. Right, I'll end with a small presentation. This is called, this is generally played at the end of a percussion concert, called a Mohara and a Muktaya. Listen to this, and with that we'll come to the end of it. this one. Right. I hope you enjoyed this particular presentation, which is an attempt to introduce you to musical mathematics. And especially this is more in the realm of percussion instruments. In fact, this mathematics is all pervading. It is even possible to explore these sort of math in vocal music, right? So if you are more interested in knowing further about these lovely aesthetic complex mathematical structures and formulations, please do contact me. My contact details are there for you. Thank you all so much. Enjoyed making this presentation to you. Have a great day. Bye bye. Special thanks to Dr. S.N. Sushila, the chairperson of the Department of Performing Arts, Bangalore University, and Dr. Hamsini Nagendra, a professor in the Department of Performing Arts, Bangalore University, for the initiative taken to organize this particular presentation as part of the international conference. Thank you so much.
Dr. K. Varadharangan holds a master's degree in physics and a PhD degree in microwave physics, both awarded by the reputed Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. A trained classical musician honored with Karnataka Kalashri title by the government of Karnataka, Dr. K. Varadharangan is a vegan who created world's first synthetic mridangam in 2015. Also, he has the credit of creating other synthetic percussion instruments such as the tabla, the khol, and the maddade. I invite Dr. K. Varadharangan to present the paper on acoustic properties of percussion instruments with reference to synthetic South Indian mridanga and tabla.
Hello and welcome. I am Dr. K. Varadharangan, founder of Karunya Musicals, musician and a musicologist. We make synthetic percussion instruments such as synthetic mridanga, synthetic tabla, khol, maddade, etc. In today's paper, I am going to talk about the acoustic properties of percussion instruments with special reference to the South Indian mridanga and tabla. Hello. I'm going to begin today's presentation on the topic acoustic properties of percussion instruments with special reference to synthetic South Indian mridanga and tabla. I'm going to start with briefly the classification of musical instruments as per traditional system. We have the Tata Vadyas or the string instruments, examples being veena, violin, mandolin. We have the wind instruments or Shushira Vadyas, example flute, nagaswaram, etc. And we have percussion instruments called Avanadha Vadyas, example mridanga, tabla, and so on. And we have solid bodied or ghana instruments such as ghata, natuvanga, tala, etc. And we also have a special category in the Indian system, which is the Jalavadya, example being the Jalatarang. Now, in the Indian classical system, it is based on the function of the instruments rather than the construction of the instruments. The classification of musical instruments as per the Western system is called Sachs-Hornbostel system. We have the chordophones, similar to the string instruments, same examples like veena, violin, mandolin. Aerophones are wind instruments like flute, nagaswaram, clarinet, harmonium. Membranophones, these are where the sound is produced by vibrating membranes, such as the mridanga and tabla. Idiophones, they're solid-bodied, similar to the ganavadyas, like ghatam, natuvanga, gongs, bells, and cymbals. And we also have a new category, electrophones, because this is a new addition, as there were no electricity available in the olden days. So this is a new addition of musical instruments category called electrophones. Involves instruments like electronic keyboard and instruments like theremin. Now here the classification is based on the mechanism of sound production. That is, in the Western classical classification system, we have the classification based on mechanism of sound production. Now we'll directly come to membranophones, which is the topic of discussion today. Here the sound is produced by a vibrating membrane. Examples include percussion instruments such as drums, congas, djembe, darbuka, mridanga, tabla, tawil, so many instruments in that category. Coming to membranophonic percussion instruments now. So what is the operating principle? The operating principle is simple. A thin membrane stretched and held under uniform tension produces a pitched sound analogous to a stretched string. So a string is a one-dimensional entity, whereas a membrane is a two-dimensional entity. If you take common examples of membranophones or percussion instruments from the Western music world, we have the tom-tom, the snare drum, the kick drum, and the timpani for concert music. There are percussion instruments from many other countries, like such as the conga, djembe, dambeka, darbuka, bodhran, bongo, tambourine, etc. Coming to the Indian percussion instruments, there are so many of them: the mridanga, tabla, pakwaj, kol, tawil, kanjira, chende, etc. Now, if we can just look at one particular drum, say the tom-tom. We have the two drum heads here. One is called the batter head, and another is called the resonant head. We have a rim or counter hook which attaches the drum head to the shell. We have some mounting hardware. We have the tension rods which you can use to tension the drum head to the desired pitch. And we have the lugs which connect the drum head to the shell through the tension rods. So if you look at closely at the tom-tom drum, or the tom drum as it is called, it is played using two sticks. There are two heads. The top one is called the batter head and the bottom one is called the resonant head. The batter head is the one that is beaten by the sticks, hence the name batter. The resonant head may be tuned to the batter head's pitch or set to slightly higher or lower pitch. It will give a pitch bend to the tone. So I'll just play a small sound sample to this. So one of the main components of the tom drum is the drum head. It is the most important component of the drum because this is the one which vibrates and produces the sound. The material of the drum head is a polyester film. So in the olden days, the material used to be animal skin, but now the modern drum heads all use polyester film as the vibrating membrane. The film is attached to a circular hoop made of aluminum, and that is attached to the shell in turn. If you look at the shell, this is the body of the drum on which the drum heads are mounted, usually made of maple, birch, African mahogany or loan. The shell has a resonant frequency of its own and depends on the construction of the shell and the dimensions. Shells may also be made of metal, fiberglass and acrylic plastic. So it's not necessary that shells should always be made of wood, but there can be alternative materials also. We have another type of drum. There are some typical examples I am presenting here. The kick drum. The kick drum is a very large drum used for producing bass sounds. It is hit by a soft mallet attached to a pedal operated by the foot. So it's a very large drum compared to the tom-tom. Now if you look at the typical Western drum set, there are so many of them. We have seen the bass drum, the kick drum. We have the tom-toms here of different sizes, low pitch and high pitch. and we also have the cymbals and so on. We have the hardware to mount and keep them in place. So this is a typical West drum kit or drum set. Now, timpani is a very different instrument which is used in concert music. It's a very large bowl-shaped drum which has a great sustain tone of distinct pitch. The diameters vary from anything from 20 to 32 inch. Now, the speciality of this drum is that it produces harmonic overtones. We'll talk about it later, due to its special bowl-like construction and air pressure modifying the overtones. So the timpani has a produces harmonic overtones, unlike most of the other Western drums. Now we look at now some percussion instruments from other parts of the world. This is the conga drum, which is very famous, and it's a Cuban hand drum. It's about 2.5 feet tall and more than 1 foot in diameter. Each drum has a single head. So we have the smaller one, which is called the quinto, and the middle one is called conga, and the last one, the larger one, is called the tumba. So we can hear a sound sample here. So we have a similar another instrument from the different part of the world. Here it is an African drum originating from Mali. It's about 2 feet tall and slightly larger than 1 foot in diameter. This is a djembe. We can hear the sound sample of this as well. Then we have the darbuka, which is a hand drum used in Middle East, North Africa and Eastern Europe. It's about 1.5 feet tall and about 10 inches in diameter. Again, we could take a look at the sound sample. So this is the bongo drums. It's an Afro-Cuban hand drum. The bongo is always used as a pair. The larger one is called hembra. It's called identified as a female counterpart, and the smaller one is called mako, or the male part. Podran is again another hand drum, which is an Irish frame drum. It's somewhat similar to the kanjara. The diameter ranges from 10 inches to 26 inches. The sides are about 3.5 to 8 inches deep. So let's now look at the physics of percussive instruments. So we have looked at different percussion instruments now, and let's see what is the governing principle behind the various percussion instruments. Now it's very important to recognize two broad categories of percussive instruments. Now these are one set of instruments that produce inharmonic overtones. I will explain in a while what it means. And other instruments are instruments that produce harmonic overtones. So basically we have two types, those which produce inharmonic overtones and those which produce harmonic overtones. Now before we go further, we first need to understand what are overtones and harmonics. So in general, musical sound consists of a fundamental frequency, that is audible lowest pitch, which we can hear from the instrument, and a number of distinct higher frequencies known as overtones. So there is a fundamental pitch, and there are number of overtones which are higher in pitch compared to the fundamental pitch. Now a harmonic is an overtone whose frequency is an integral multiple of the frequency of the fundamental. So harmonic has frequencies such that it is an integral multiple of the fundamental frequency. Now here is an example. Let's say an instrument produces the following frequencies. It's just a random choice of frequencies, just for illustration. Now let's say it has 100 hertz, which is a fundamental, the lowest frequency. Now this is called as the first harmonic, and let's say it has another frequency which is 120 hertz. This is the first overtone. Why? Because it is the first frequency above the fundamental, so it's the first overtone. Then let's say it has 149 hertz, which is the second overtone. So, and then let's say it has the 200 hertz as the third overtone. But since this is an integral multiple of the fundamental, which is 2 times the fundamental, this is also called the second harmonic. So this frequency is a harmonic of the fundamental, whereas these two, the 120, 149 were not. Likewise, if you have 245 hertz, this is a fourth overtone, but it is certainly not a harmonic. Whereas the 300 hertz one is a fifth overtone, it's a harmonic, and it's also called the third harmonic. So like this, we have an instrument producing either harmonic or inharmonic overtones. So harmonic overtones, again I will emphasize, are those which have an integral multiple relationship with the fundamental pitch or fundamental frequency. Now, instruments with inharmonic overtones. Most instruments produce inharmonic overtones unless you take special care or special design to make them harmonic overtones. So by default, most instruments have inharmonic overtones. These include all types of the instruments described earlier, except the timpani. The timpani is the only exception which produces harmonic overtones, whereas most of the other drums which you discussed, like tom-tom, congo, etc., bongos, etc., they produce inharmonic overtones. Now if you look at the instruments that produce harmonic overtones, you come to a very important observation that it is a timpani of the Western music, but every loaded Indian membrane, such as the mridanga, tabla, pakhwaj and khol, all produce harmonic overtones. So very important aspect. Loaded Indian drums, please note the word loaded. So the loaded Indian drums have the capacity to produce harmonic overtones. So barring the timpani, which is the only exception from the Western world, most of the loaded Indian drums have harmonic overtones. Now, then what is the principle behind the Indian instruments like mridanga and tabla producing harmonic overtones? Now, these instruments have their vibrating membrane loaded which increases the surface density, that is mass per unit area, at the central area of the membrane. So the centrally loaded black patch not only imparts great sustain to the tone, but also modifies the inharmonic overtones to a harmonic series. It's a very interesting thing. So because we load it with a heavier material, which is this part is called the karane or the sadam or masala or syahi, this part, which is usually identified as a black patch on the membrane, which is a loading, that is adding weight. Loading means adding weight. This is the one which imparts the nature of harmonic overtones, which would have been otherwise inharmonic overtones. So the loaded membrane, the loading converts the inharmonic overtones to harmonic overtones. So that's a very important function that the loaded part does to the percussion instrument. Now let's discuss a little more about how these different sounds manifest on the percussion instrument. So we have this by the process known as nodal lines, nodal circles, etc. So your node represents a point where vibration is 0. A nodal line represents a straight line over which the vibration is 0. Likewise, a nodal circle denotes a circle over which vibration is 0. So a node represents a point of 0 vibration, whether it is a point or a line or a circle. Now if you look at the fundamental mode, this mode, the entire drum vibrates such that there are no nodal lines or circles. This mode is designated as 0-1 mode. This is the mode with the lowest frequency. This is a fundamental frequency. So this mode produces a fundamental frequency. Now if you look at the first and second overtones of the drum, the first overtone is shown here with a single nodal line. So in this mode, the drum head vibrates such that there is one nodal line due to variations in the angular direction. This is in the angular direction. The frequency of this mode is 1.593 F. F is a fundamental frequency, whereas this is 1.59. So the node with one nodal line has a frequency of 1.593 F. I am talking about the unloaded membranes here. Unloaded membranes. Please remember that. The second overtone mode, in this mode the drum head vibrates such that there are two nodal lines due to variation in the angular direction. The frequency of this mode is 2.135 F. So this is the figure on the right side. You can see two nodal lines in this mode of vibration. I am again talking about unloaded membranes. Now again going with the unloaded membranes, we have this third and fourth overtones. The third overtone is shown in the left and the fourth overtone is shown to the right. Here in the third overtone mode, there is no variation in the angular direction, but there is a variation in the radial direction, and there is a nodal circle. As you can see here, there is a nodal circle here, and then it is formed due to variation in the radial direction. The frequency of this mode is 2.29 F. So the third overtone mode is 2.29 F. The fourth overtone mode is that there is one nodal line and one nodal circle, and the frequency of this is 2.917 F. So if you look at the overtones of unloaded membranes, now we can see that they are the values like 1.593, 2.135, 2.295, 2.917, 3.5 and 3.598. So none of these are harmonic to the fundamental. That is, they are not integral multiples of the fundamental. So they are all inharmonic overtones. So when you look at the overtones of an unloaded membrane, we see that they are all inharmonic. They don't form a harmonic series at all. So even the higher order modes, if you were to consider, they also exhibit a similar behavior, which is that they are inharmonic. So what happens when a drum head which is unloaded is beaten with stick or hand? So when such a drum head is sounded, although there is a perception of a pitch due to the presence of the fundamental, so there is you still have a sense of pitch because there is a fundamental, which often is a strong one. So you get a sense of pitch, but the sound appears tinny and rather unmusical. This is because of the presence of so many harmonics, which are so many inharmonics, which don't form a harmonic series. So the sound appears tinny and unmusical. So thus drummers who play these instruments often use muffling rings or patches to reduce the intensity of these inharmonic overtones. The inharmonic overtones cause irritation, so they need to be suppressed. So it's done with some muffling rings or patches to reduce the intensity of inharmonic overtones. This happens in most of the Western drums which are not loaded. Now let us come to the important topic of today's focus, which is the acoustical properties of the mridanga. So here is a rough sketch of the instrument. This is the body of the instrument which is shown here, and we have the right drum, we have the left drum, we have the black patch which is a karne, and we have I have shown a modern variant of this where the tensioning is done through threaded hooks, and we have the drum head. I'm talking about the traditional construction. We have eyelets, we have the leather strap here, and the outermost membrane with the cutout has the middle membrane karne coming out of that, and this is the shell. So this is the right drum head and the left drum head. On the top is the right drum and the bottom is the left drum head. So if you look at the various sounds of the mridanga, I won't explain them in detail. We have the me-too, which is called numb stroke, which it is obtained by beating with a finger on the rim of the mridanga. And the chapu is obtained by striking at the center with the little finger being pressed firmly against the center of the black patch. The arechapu is a similar tone, but it is produced by beating in such a way that the mridangam head is divided into two halves with reference to the line of the playing. The dim sound is the one which is played at the edge of the black patch, and the dheem sound is the one which is obtained by playing right at the center of the drum head. The most important observation here is that the mridanga produces nearly harmonic overtones. So this is what we are trying to put across in this presentation, that Indian percussion instruments such as the mridanga and tabla produce near harmonic overtones. This is based on the principle that a symmetrically loaded circular membrane produces harmonic overtones. This remarkable property of the mridanga is a tribute to the greatness of Indian music. It was first observed by Sir C.V. Raman that these instruments produce harmonic overtones. That is, the loaded instruments of the Indian construction, that is the mridanga, tabla, and several instruments which have this construction, they all produce harmonic overtones. And this fact was first observed by the Nobel laureate Sir C.V. Raman several decades back. Now, if you look at the modeling of the mridanga, it's also modeled as as a composite membrane. Theoretical study of the mridanga can be done by modeling it as a composite membrane of two different densities. That is, we have a certain density at the center and a different density away from the center where the black patch is not present. So, and Professor B.S. Ramakrishna has done seminal work in this direction. He proved theoretically that a loaded membrane with a two density model produces harmonic overtones. And there have been a lot of other studies by Rawlings who experimentally studied the mridanga and demonstrated how the inharmonic overtones of the mridanga gradually move towards their harmonic slots as the black patch, the karna, is built up layer by layer. So this is an idea of the spectrum of the theme stroke. So there are many strokes, but I am illustrating only two of them here. So this theme spectrum, you can see that the fundamental is 214.7 Hertz, and which we'll take always the second peak, the second harmonic as a reference, which is 395 Hertz. So it is set to 0. So the fundamental will be slightly out of tune, which is 1.07, should have been 1 exactly, but because it is slightly more, it sounds little higher in the mridanga. So if you tap it at the center, you see that it is not at the tonic, but it is at one note above. So that is the nature of these instruments. So the first one is 1.07, and the second one is 2.0, and the third harmonic is very close, 2.93, very close. The other one also, there is a 2.99, which is close to 3. So there are three different modes here, but producing the third harmonic for both of them. And there is the next one, which is which has the fourth harmonic here. And then this is 4.0 exactly, 4.91 and 5.0. So you can see these two are producing the fifth harmonic. So this is how this is the practically measured spectrum of theme stroke of the mridangam. So the conclusions are that we have unloaded drums produce inharmonic overtones, loaded drums such as the mridanga and tabla produce harmonic overtones, but the fundamental is slightly out of tune. The timpani appears to be the only Western percussion instrument that produces harmonic overtones. Now let us come to the synthetic rhythm Indian instruments. These are called the Sri instruments. This is the display of the Sri Mridanga. This Mridangam was created by Dr. K. Varadharangan, Bangalore. It's the world's first synthetic Mridanga. The acoustic principles are same as the traditional mridanga. So it is same, the idea of loading and the various ways of constructing is employed, as this is similar, but the materials and process are very different. Made of the drum head is made of a polyester film, whereas in this traditional instrument is made of animal skin. So further, it also uses a fiberglass shell instead of wood. So this is another value, a great value addition. So the Sri Mridanga is both eco-friendly and animal skin free. So this is the Sri Mridanga, which has completely avoided use of animal skin and wood in the construction. Now, Now coming to the Sri Tabla, this is the picture of the Sri Tabla. We have the right side, the smaller one. The one is the is called the Tabla or Dayan, and the left one is called the Bayan or Baya. So this produces pitched tones, harmonic tones, overtones. The Baya produces bass pitch. So this is the tabla pair. They always go in pair. Unlike the mridangam, they are into two halves. Whereas in the mridangam, both the right and the left sounds are integrated into the same shell. So again, this is the world's first synthetic tabla created by Dr. K. Varadanangan of Bangalore. The acoustic principles are same as the traditional mridanga or tabla, made of polyester film drum heads and uses fiberglass shells instead of wood. So eco-friendly and animal-free. This is eco-friendly and animal skin-free. Thank you.
Namaste. Whether music is an art or a science, it's a million-dollar question. And in today's speeches by Dr. V. Krishna and Dr. K. Varadanangan, they have established very well that music is an art and also a science. With the advancements of technological improvements in the global area, it is being proved that music has several scientific elements in that pertaining to the sound, the nada, the calculations, that is relating to mathematics, physics, psychology and etc. In today's speech, Dr. V. Krishna, who hails from a very traditional music family, has very well portrayed the elements of mathematics in music, which was very enlightening to all of us. And I thank Dr. V. Krishna for giving us a lot of input into the subject of role of mathematics in music, and I thank him once again. Thank you. The second speaker was Dr. K. Varadanangan, who is a well-known scientist also. We are very fortunate that we had a very eminent scholar and musician who could establish the physics of music in his paper. Dr. K. Varadanangan has thrown lot of light, good light on this topic and given us a good thought-provoking speech. On this occasion, I would like to extend a heartful thanks to Dr. V. Krishna and Dr. K. Varadanangan on behalf of all of us and the university. Thank you very much, sir.